you looked at. You could never get Q. Hey, here's 30,000 children in a sex slave system run by the German government. You're not Q level, buddy. Oh, here's Trump busting thousands of these groups. Because it was controlled by them, and I knew it was. So now they can have a victory lap and try to discredit all of this stuff. Underground currencies, art, drugs, gold, silver, ways to transfer wealth illicitly. And one of the biggest is the sex trade and what's known as white slavery. Now, white slavery doesn't mean that white people are the slaves. It means white slavery is associated with the sex trade, meaning you've got black magic, white magic. It's just called white slavery, meaning the harams of the Muslims where the women are held captive. They really kind of wrote the book on that in the last couple thousand years. Ways to transfer wealth illicitly. And one of the biggest is the sex trade and what's known as white slavery. Now, white slavery doesn't mean that white people are the slaves. It means white slavery is associated with the sex trade, meaning you've got black magic, white magic. It's just called white slavery, meaning the harams of the Muslims where the women are held captive. They really kind of wrote the book on that in the last couple thousand years. And so this has become a currency traded in all over the world.
It's moving too fast. It's just moving too fast. And I mean, thank God I had some patriots been traveling with me. I haven't been alone a second, well, really in 10 weeks, thank God. Because Alex, I'm just going to confess it on air. I probably would have committed suicide. Just honestly, probably shouldn't be saying this on air, but they got this close to having Ali Alexander commit suicide. What they have done to me in losing my platforms, in losing family members, in losing my income, and having to move out from my house and sell my car, there were dark moments there. And thank God I went off into the mountains and I was surrounded by people who love me and love God. But it's shocking that they're trying to gaslight us. But that's what they want. They want despair. They want us to curse God. They want us to curse God. God, where are you? Where are you? We're your chosen people. Where are you? He is here and he is working in the mystery. And this sucks right now, but we have no choice but to go on the offense and attack them and to tell the truth about them and ask our neighbors to wake up to this heinous truth that freedom is gone and that we've got to restore it. We've got to resurrect it, if you will. It's dead. We've got to resurrect it. And so that's what I'm on your show to talk about is I can't believe that every day I wake up, they want me to forget about everything else they've done.
I couldn't believe a year ago, some professor wrote a book saying Sandy Hook didn't happen. I'm not in the book. And it was at Wall Street Journal headline, Alex Jones loses court case. No one died at Sandy Hook. And I had my lawyers send a book to the Wall Street Journal, call them and say, he's not in this book. And they said, we don't care, sue us. And you hit that moment where you realize, they look back and they go, yeah, we're lying. We don't care. At that moment, you're like, you're that bad? So it's not just the very top that's corrupt. They've gotten armies of people, Ali, that will lie now.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic.
The world and its way to actually corrupt people and get them into gang initiations. MS-13 puts people through these type of initiations to rape a young girl or torture her or even kill her. You can look that up. You've tuned into the Alex Jones Show on this live February 7th Sunday transmission. So there's a lot of media jokes about children and about abusing children, and you've seen the drag queen story times where men dressed as nuns say we're grooming the next generation of your children belong to us, whether you like it or not, and then they even go to city councils with their makeup off and say we're grooming your children for the future. This is a power grab. That's what the whole trans movement is about, brainwashing autistic boys that they're really a girl. So you're really sterilizing people for depopulation. And by the way, that's in the literature from the 60s. They planned this. So they know what they're doing. Well, now SNL did a whole 8-minute piece. I'm going to only play part of it. Super Bowl commercials featured BLM, QAnon, and COVID vaccines. And they make jokes about Papa John. Not Papa John's pizza, but Papa John. And then they talk about sex slavery and Hillary and pizza. So let's unpack that. We got the WikiLeaks documents about 2 months before the election in 2016. And it was real. They didn't deny it. And it was John Podesta and Hillary and others and Obama. And that, sir, $65,000 of hot dogs will be delivered to your party. To Obama's credit, that's not children. That's male prostitutes in the FBI code. I mean, that's a known code that the FBI's created handbooks on. There was no pedophile stuff we found with Obama. But with the Clintons and with John Podesta, whose brother publishes that he likes pedophilia in the Washington Post, 2007, I mean, quote, DeviantArt. I don't even want to show it, even though we have a lot of stations complain, TV stations that simulcast the radio show. But you can look up John Podesta, Tony Podesta, DeviantArt. And it ties all into the spirit cooking and the rest of it. And it talked about, we're going to have children in the hot tub for you. They're ready to service you. They're going to make this remote farmhouse for you. That was all in New York and places like that. So CNN and the New York Times go, oh my gosh, QAnon, or it wasn't called that then, it was called 4chan. They have all found where it's at a pizza place in D.C. in a underground bunker. None of that was true. We covered the news covering it. They went, oh, Jones says it's there. So see, they distracted off of all the real stuff. All right, parental discretion advised. Pull up Tony Podesta, DeviantArt, Washington Post. Just don't put the naked kids on screen. They put this in the newspaper. That was in 2007. See, that's a lesser magic. If they show you what they're doing, go ahead and show the paddled kids, the chained up kids. Just don't show the naked ones. And so it's a lesser magic to show you all this. It throws it in your face and gives them more power, they believe, to be conditioning you. And so, again, what they're doing with this is throwing it in your face. So they diverted off onto a pizza place that nothing was going on at. But the Podestas were involved and did go there for fundraisers and things, so there was enough of a connection to then divert off of everything else that was really going on. And so now they make a joke about it. But I'm going to play you this SNL joke. And good job that they're showing it, but not showing the naked children. They've cut that off. And there's hundreds of these, ladies and gentlemen. This was published in the Washington Post. And I mean, looking at this, I feel degraded. My soul feels bad. I mean, it's just, he has a dungeon. There's images of children hanging basically off hooks. And just stuff you can't even imagine, where he watches DeviantArt. And it's all children tied up. And I'm going to leave it at that. So, again, you have the Clintons and the UN history, and you have the demons with children in cages on their backs. It's just unbelievable. I've forgotten more than most people even know about this stuff. And you have the UN's own report. You have the AP 3 years ago that Hillary helped traffic over 10,000 kidnapped children out of Haiti. Many ended up in sex dungeons and dead. I'm going to show you Hillary involved in all this, and Obama not doing it himself, but helping deliver children when we come back. I'm going to show you the Washington Post and a Senate report that Obama facilitated the trafficking of tens of thousands of children in sex slavery. But I'm honest, he doesn't order him up himself. He likes dudes. But, I mean, look at his husband. But that's what's going on here, Big Mike, who, by the way, is a man. All the evidence is overwhelming. So SNL Super Bowl commercial features BLM, QAnon, and COVID vaccines, all making jokes about it. But when we come back, because it shows a horse kicking a vaccine to somebody, yeah, it's going to be like a horse kicking your ass. So let's go ahead and roll them making a joke about what is one of the top sex trade, sex exploitation, sex slavery events in the world. Here it is.
History, you'll see impassioned commercials. This one almost brought me to tears.
In these times, what you stand for matters more than ever. We've learned once again that freedom isn't free. But we must always strive for equality. And we must always reach for Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its, historically delicious.
Wow, truly inspiring.
What the hell?
That was a commercial for Cheez-Its?
Really makes you think.
Right, Boom. But look, don't worry. To balance out the so-called progressive ads, we're also wearing some with a more conservative slant, like this one.
At Papa John's, we know you want real ingredients. No additives, no preservatives, and no child sex trafficking in the basement. Sorry, Democrats. You'll have to get your child sex pizza over at Hillary's Pizzeria. Papa John's. It's A-OK. Stop by with your coupon today.
Wait, that's a pizza
So
ad?
imagine you've got 70 million people probably tuning into the Super Bowl. You got all these children hearing about sex with children and conservatives and then the Q movement. And it shows Q supporters. Again, I told you, Q is a discredit and say there's millions of kids in underground bases, which isn't true, so that all the real stuff I'm going to show you when we come back doesn't get looked at. You could never get Q. Hey, here's 30,000 children in a sex slave system run by the German government. You're not Q level, buddy. Oh, here's Trump busting thousands of these groups. Because it was controlled by them, and I knew it was. So now they can have a victory lap and try to discredit all of this stuff. Victory lap, victory laugh. When we come back, I'm going to just show you this week's news about the giant industrial government-run sex slave operations of Obama, the Democrats, and the German government. The Germans are some of the worst. The communists that run that, Merkel, oh, that's a pedophile army. I mean, the German government is pedophile devil worshipers. We'll be right back. Welcome back on this live Sunday, February 7th, 2021 transmission, Super Bowl 55. Owen Schroyer's coming up, host another 2 hours, 6 to 8 p.m., as we all ride shotgun together into eternity. Okay, so I have been on air 27 years, and I'd read a lot of books, I studied a lot of history, and learned a lot of stuff from interesting family, but I was still dumber than a box of rocks, even though I was light years ahead of the average person my age when I got on local access TV at 20, syndicated local radio at 21, syndicated at 22. I've interviewed thousands and thousands of people. I've been on the street thousands of times. I've experienced a lot of things. And so there I am.
We shall rest when we are dead.
This is the best way to understand what happened because I experienced this. You know, they say there's 3 ways to learn things. Revelation, where you just, God beams it in your head. That's the best way. Experience, that's the next best way. Or you have to be taught. You have to be told. But see, people don't tend to believe that. If they're just told something or taught something, they're not sure yet, are they? So there's revelation, there's experience, and there's being taught. And so when I tell you these stories, it's not to talk about something that happened in my life, it's my only way to describe how I know I'm right. So I'm sitting here 4 years and 4 months ago, and we've got hundreds of thousands of emails. I mean, we're doing Aleister Crowley rituals. It says we're drinking blood, semen, women's milk. We correlate it with photos and Hillary and world leaders together with vats of blood with children in it and just demons raping children and the Washington Post showing demons raping children. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I just showed you some of it, and I didn't show you the bad stuff last segment of your TV viewer. Please type in Tony Podesta promoting child rape, promoting pedophilia. I mean, it's just everywhere. They have damn art displays. And then my crew, who are great people, some of them are not here now, they're like, Jones, This is the place, this pizza place, it's proof. And I said, you know, the media's all covering it. I think it's a setup. And then, of course, it was. So when I saw Q come along, and like, oh, there's 10 million kids in underground bases, and, you know, but oh, Hillary's in Gitmo, and, you know,
Greater foes.
Tom Hanks is involved, and he's in a prison. I don't know if Tom Hanks is involved in this stuff. There's no proof of that. And he wasn't in prison. It's like when Trump got up on January 7th and said, I concede the election, 8chan said, that is a deep fake. I was talking to Roger, who was talking to Trump every day. Trump had conceded. I could call up another lawyer. Barnes was talking to Trump, still is every day. He's like, no, he conceded. Trump has called me probably 50 times. Oh, I'm a real person, though. Oh, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Listen to 8chan. And some dude that looks like, I don't know, the psychic creature in Total Recall. Activate the reactor. So here we are. And then I get to see them rub it in everywhere, calling Republicans the Q party, calling me the Q. Oh, Jones turned against Q. I tried to get the Q people to listen to me so they wouldn't be set up. And so when all this came out, they would be on the right side of it. A lot of people listened to me, a lot didn't. But a lot of my listeners are like, we're sick of Q, Alex. What's the problem about it? We know it's a fraud. I'm talking to the new people, and I'm explaining that there's going to be more of this to come. So that's why I get so mad when I see shows like Saturday Night Live that's famous for promoting pedophilia, making a joke about the sex trafficking of children and Hillary and pizza, because it's known. It's in the FBI files. We've checked it. It's been in many court cases. It's been confirmed. They use, like in the old days, I guess if you're going to order some marijuana over the phone, you go, I'd like some Mr. Green, or, you know, people have a code word. Well, cheese pizza means child pornography. Walnut sauce means brown children. I'm not kidding. And they got all these terms, and that's all in the John Podesta, Tony Podesta email stuff that's all confirmed. Well, they didn't want us to look at that, so they go set up a thing that wasn't doing anything to divert us off. It's a very simple distraction tactic. But now here we are. Here's an article, Washington Examiner. In the shadow of glory, a dirty secret. Child sex trafficking at the Super Bowl. Super Bowl remains target for human trafficking, ESPN. 2 FBI agents killed serving warrants on pedophile network. This is real, folks. This is going on. The denial of it's insane. Look at Sandusky. Look at Penn State. Look at the Boys Club. Look at all of it. Look at Jimmy Savile. Look at the royal family. This is out of control. But I can show you. I can show you right now. Huffington Post, CNN, all saying there's no such thing as pedophilia, period, while they promote sex with your children. I mean, California's trying to pass a law they can have sex with boys as young as 12. Look at this. What happened to the kids in cages? CNN refers to Immigrant Detention Center as overflow facility. So Biden's going to put them back in the cages. And let me show you the real trafficking. Senate report. Obama's catch and release policy placed kids in the hands of human traffickers, tens of thousands of them. Report, German officials placed children with known pedophiles for 30 years, tens of thousands of them in every German state, saying a man and a boy is true love. We're getting rid of the normal nuclear family and creating a family of homosexual pedophilic sex. Go read the damn, the German government doesn't deny this now. The German government ran this as the new family. German nuns sold orphan children to sexual predators. Even the Daily Beast, to their credit, most leftist publications won't talk about it. It's all confirmed. They have admitted to it all. Tens of thousands of boys as young as 5 years old given over in rituals, sex torture, gang rapes, all right here. And if they complained, well, they would be beaten with an inch of life or killed. Oh, but it's funny to everybody. Police in Germany investigate 30,000 potential suspects in pedophile probe. DW.com. I mean, this is all the top German news. It's not even tonight. German nuns rented orphan boys to businessmen for gangbangs and orgies. Suppressed report. The boys as young as 5 would return covered in semen, bleeding in many cases. A lot of it's in the article, but the shocking revelations come in less than a year after a separate investigation found Berlin's educational authorities and Senate had support the Senate that was run by the government officially. I mean, had supported and defended placing foster children in the care of known pedophiles. Go read it. I read a translated like 40-something page report, literally had nightmares. They're like, this is true love, these young boys with their daddy. They will no longer have children. We will defeat the nuclear family. When we come back, I'm going to show you a top Democrat saying we're going to break America's will and take everything you've got. When you finally realize this is an army of hell, organized soldiers, lawyers, bankers, they mean business. But now you have Hillary making a joke, don't you? SNL's Super Bowl commercial features BLM, QAnon, and COVID vaccines. It's like an 8-minute piece. The full thing's on Infowars.com if you want to see it. It gets even sicker, where a horse kicks a woman with a vaccine and almost kills her. They're just bragging what they're doing to you. It's all lesser magic. Pure evil. The boys and girls being sold for sex during COVID-19 and the Super Bowl. Oh, senior establishment anti-Trumper supports impeachment, arrested for running pedophile ring. He said he, quote, dreamed of gang raping babies and was organizing the rape of a baby to hear it scream his favorite. Oh, here's another article. When Chelsea Handler met Woody Allen and Soon Yi at Jeffrey Epstein's dinner party. Oh, Soon Yi. Oh, his little girlfriend since he was 8. Obama administration placed children with human traffickers. Senate report, Washington Post. An army of evil. There's the walnut sauce. Brown children are walnut sauce. And for whatever reason, they love walnut sauce. All right, that's who the Democrats are. Remember it, understand it. And the Republicans are involved as well. They are the most evil people you could ever imagine. And they all got that demon look.
You are listening to an Infowars.com frontline report. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
By the way, my parents growing up, I'm your host, Alex Jones, had every room basically full of books. When I was about 10, I was already into history books. I was already just voraciously reading. My dad was just taking me to the bookstore every weekend. And to the library. I could just have whatever I wanted. They would buy me a bunch of clothes, wouldn't buy me a new bike. They'd buy books. And I'm like, Dad, what are these books? He goes, oh, those are books on black magic and what the establishment is into and how they try to harness their mind to control things for bad. He said, you can read them if you want to. And these were like the really famous ones, but like copies. A lot of books don't have, like the Grand Grimoire and all those things. I probably read 10 books on black magic by the time I was about 12. And so that's why when I'm explaining to you about Hillary Clinton and Aleister Crowley magic and all these people, I mean, it's 101. I mean, I've actually studied it. So when I explain lesser magic, I guess like these different organizations, these different thug groups, the Insane Clown Posse, all those type of groups, they say, we want to punk somebody. And, you know, you see it in basic criminal psychology out there. You got to tell somebody what you're doing to their face. That makes it 10 times better. And they believe it if they announce what they're going to do to you before they do it, it gives it more power when they do it. Okay? And so that's what we're talking about right here. And these people mean business. So when you see Hollywood promoting Satanism and pedophilia and all of that, depending on the statistics I've read, upwards of 80% of pedophiles were abused themselves. And so they're creating a system that's self-replicating. And that's why you had these psychiatrists in every German state with the legislatures of the states, the senates. I just showed you Daily Beast even. To their credit, most liberal publications say it doesn't exist. I just showed you DW.com, biggest TV station in Germany, highly respected, national news like ABC News, saying every major German state placed children knowingly with child rapists. Now, Why is that important? The guys were telling me about a documentary I meant to see. I actually read about it a while back, but never got to it. The Truth About Three Identical Strangers, Psychology Today. Now, the psychiatrist and psychologist that convinced the mother to do a psychology experiment and split her 3 sons apart. Didn't even know you could have 3, but I guess they do. Is that impossible? And to study how they would grow up, how they would behave, how it would operate. Now think about it. That's just a psychiatrist making the decision to do that for a test. And that's what Bill Gates' geoengineering is about. That's what the mRNA vaccine is about. That's what all this craziness is about, is these groups are doing whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and it's insane. Wow, to show that I don't know my science, I didn't know you could have 3 identical twins. Wow, I've heard about this. I never saw the documentary. That's crazy. I can tell you what'll be on my watching list as soon as I can. But again, they split them up because the system felt like it. Well, thank God these psychiatrists didn't decide to send them to live with pedophiles. But that's how the scientists work. Not the average scientists, but the elite scientists are mad scientists. And you don't get in their ranks unless you treat people like they're absolutely nothing.
InfoWars, the most banned network in the world.
I love you, dude. I love you, but you gotta let me talk.
Highest level military intelligence. Tell me more about it.
Are you waiting for your turn to speak, sir? Are you listening?
Tell me about the highest level military intelligence.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. You're full of shit.
I said to you there was a military coup and it's still in effect. What exactly is Trump doing? You think Trump is just sitting there and waiting and writing a novel? What do you think is going on when we're exposing the Republicans, the Democrats, we're exposing the Lincoln Project, we've exposed all the senators, McConnell? How do you expose a guy like McConnell if you don't allow him to come out and show what a coward he really is and how dangerous he was? Or Mitt Romney. How many times do we have to say Mitt Romney was in Bain Capital and was corrupt? The only thing I'm saying to you and why I went on the show wasn't to be right or wrong. That's not what I'm about. I am a son of the Republic. And in the Republic, there are people with me who believe in what we're doing. What is unfolding? I'm telling you, we're arresting different people. How long will it take? I just told you. What I do not know and I don't want to know is the ongoing timing. Is this a day, a week? It's a couple of months. I said to you, it takes time. When, in fact, we initiated, we did this years ago to do a sting operation. That was years ago, where it was marked, and people didn't believe that the Dominions were controlled or that we had a sense of what was going on the ballot, as well as the voting machine. It turned out to be exactly what we thought. We knew exactly what the timing was when the votes came out and they were fraud. Alex, quiet down a bit. You've never been in a military coup. You do not understand what that means. You do not understand how quickly we work and how long we've been preparing for this. If I'm wrong, I will never appear on your show again. But if I'm right, I become one of your official paid commentators. You want that
If
back?
you're right, I'll hire you and pay you. Get me on the show every day.
We are now officially in a military coup. What has happened and why I was part of it is because I've had a history of doing soft coups in the United States and what we call hard coups overseas, overthrowing regimes using the military. In this case, we had what we call a hard coup. It was initiated, as I said, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, by our cyber command using special forces. There were over 400 people from all parts of the intelligence community. I won't go into the names. But in effect now, we are about to arrest Pelosi. We're going to arrest Biden, Hunter Biden, Mitt Romney. You're talking about a whole list of individuals whom I identified on this show for years. When I said Gina Haspel has to go, she went. When I said Barr was a CIA operative, he went. When I told you Pence was not to be believed because he came out of a Democratic Catholic background, became an evangelical Christian, he left. So what's happening now is that we are literally in a military coup. That means, in effect, this country will watch the arrests that will come out of this. We have already arrested, and basically overseas, we have taken out the Pope, whom I've identified for over 30 years as a terrorist, who, when he was director of the Jesuits, had killed 3 of our American nuns, 2 of our Jesuits. We arrested a young man an older man from the State Department, Stefano Serini, who basically leaked all the information, used Leonardo, the sites going up to the satellites, which were controlled by the Vatican. We in turn intercepted all that information and were able to get, along with Nancy Pelosi's, a computer. By the way, there was no rioting in the Capitol. I happen to know 3 to 4 people here from my town who said it was very peaceful. The police took down the barriers. And in effect, what people don't know is we sent Special Forces operators in there to take Pelosi's computer. I'm about.
There it is, the new Pearl Harbor, the ultimate attack of history. The devastating special ops takeover and the takedown of the globalist. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to go to break because some stations aren't carrying this segment. We're going to come back with Dr. Steve Pieczenik for a very interesting and highly anticipated interview. His interview with Owen Schroyer got about 5.5 million views on Band.video back a few months ago when he said that, Trump was invincible and all this was going to happen. And a lot of people thought that too. A lot of televangelists, the general public, a lot of people I know behind the scenes, a lot of people even in government thought this was happening. But really it was used to then bring in the real martial law and the troops and everything that's for us. And the former head of counterterrorism is saying they're going to come after the American people. I've got all of that coming up on the other side of this quick break. So tell your friends, your family, your neighbors to tune in, because we had that last interview. Look at 3+ million views, almost 3 million views, 2.9 million views. And it's Dr. Pieczenik's last appearance on InfoWars. No, it is not his last appearance, but he's got his Boogaloo Boy shirt on. So we're doing good today. He's actually the leader of the Boogaloos. It's not Mike Dunn. Though Mike Dunn is his son. Mike Dunn is the son of Dr. Steve Pieczenik. It's a joke. Call it a joke. All right, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, on the other side in 60 seconds. Coming to you live from the ATX, broadcasting worldwide. I'm not going to try to rehabilitate Dr. Steve Pieczenik here on air in some people's eyes, but he did leave the CFR and say 9/11 was an inside job and call the real perpetrators out that were actually involved orchestrating it. I'm not saying radical Islam doesn't exist. And he's done a lot of other good things. Wasn't for the Syrian war, supported Trump, trying to get troops out. But I thought he was buying into the whole Q8chan deal that Trump's invincible, military coup. I didn't even want a military coup. And I saw this as a big setup. And then I thought the Secret Service would be at the Capitol if they knew Trump was planning to go speak there. But sure as hell, Trump says, I'm going to the Capitol. And the Secret Service opens up the gates and leads me over to lead it. But already 100+ thousand had already marched, and a few hundred were already attacking a tiny force of like 30 police that then got pushed out of the way by, we know, operatives that had embedded themselves in every major patriot group and in Antifa. So I was there witnessing that historical false flag. It was kind of a consolation, like a memento, to even be hit in the face with some tear gas. I'm not a victim. It was actually kind of enjoyable. But, I mean, this actually was going on. And so I got to hand it to the folks that hijacked this. You know, they really won this round. You really screwed me over. Felt like I was Jeff Bridges in Arlington Road. But luckily, we were able to de-escalate it so it didn't go to the pipe bombs and the killing that some of the Q-tards thought they were supposed to go in and actually zip-tie people and get them out. The reason they've moved from saying, oh, Trump sent people there is they wanted to move to a planned operation. But now that they know that the FBI is controlling those groups, now they want to back off that as well. They're even trying to back off the impeachment. Now Senator Kaine wants censure instead. And so I appreciate Steve Pieczenik coming on and having the courage after he was on Well, let's punch that up. Is this Steve Pieczenik's last interview? Because I'll give you the date. I forget the date. There it is. Is this Dr. Steve Pieczenik's last appearance on InfoWars? And that was January 13th, 7 days before we were supposedly going to see Joe Biden's head cut off like a chicken up there on the dais in front of the Capitol, running around like a chicken. But it didn't happen. So, Steve Pieczenik, tell us, was it all a big joke? Are you in with the Q guys? Were you part of the setup? Or were you really believing this was going to happen? We really appreciate you coming on.
Number one, I enjoy coming on the show. Number two, what I do resent is the ad hominem comments coming from your disgusting viewers who think that I lied or in some way gave them false promise. If they want to know who I am, what I am, let them read my book, American Warrior in Crisis. I came on the show again to basically say to you, I will double down on the military coup. And the reason I'm doubling down is that right now it's taking more time, and I don't directly deal with military operatives as I had in the past when I went overseas. So I still have faith in my cyber command. I have faith in my special forces. I have faith in the generals. Flynn's brother was appointed SINCPAC commander and other commanders. So what I'm saying to you right now is what you're seeing happening is exactly what Trump wanted to happen. He's exposing. Now, you got to remember one thing I've said about Trump. He never fails at what he does. And by the way, he has remained silent. Only one individual picked that up repeatedly, and that's Bill Maher of HBO. He hit it right on the head. Why is Trump silent when in his history he has never been silent? And part of the reason is, and I'm going back to Sun Tzu, he understands that in order to take back the power that he has, he never gave it away, he has to expose to the American public, number one, I said to you the Lincoln Project was the disaster. John Conway was a liar, pathological liar, and his wife was also a pathological liar.
He did say in that interview, if I remember, on the 13th, that the Lincoln Project was going down, and about 4 days later, it started to.
All right, what was exposed beyond that was the homosexuality of John Weaver and the pedophilia that was rampant in the Lincoln Project, involving all kinds of guys named Schmidt, Mitt Romney, Bain Capital, Google. If you look at who was involved in Lincoln Project, you have a whole list of advertisers and supporters, including some of the major Republican